Right, how's it? Okay, so it's another Sunday, another time for another video to record. And this one's I'm probably the most nervous I've ever been for a video, because this is a big one that I've felt for a long time, but also that I'm only just starting to come to terms with. So I probably don't have everything perfectly figured out yet. But start the conversation, things like that. But firstly, before anything else, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who's watched so far. It's been huge. I was honestly expecting maybe 9 views per video, and I don't know, it's been a couple more than that, which I'm quite stoked with, and as well as having a couple subscribers, very happy. If you have subscribed, please send me a message. I'd love to chat to you. I'd love to understand why, what did you think, that kind of thing. Huge on the kind of feedback. But getting into what this video is about, in the last video I discussed basically the 3 skills you got to know, ability to read, ability to think, and the ability to write. So definitely go check that one out if you haven't. It's quite cool. But in general, I think there's also something that the discussion we haven't, or people in general don't have, is self-awareness and understanding yourself. And for me, this is a big one because I've only recently started getting into it, and I probably wish I'd done it sooner. But also I'm aware that you gotta kind of smash your head a couple of times before you know. So just for me, it's self-awareness is probably the most vital thing to know in life, because it's the only thing that you can't get told. It's the only thing you can't go to someone else and be like, hey, what do you think my internal thing is? What do you think? Who am I? Do you think I am? And you get feedback that way, but at the end of the day, it's an answer that only you can give. And that's why I think it's super vital that you try. And I mean, in a lot of self-help books and in a lot of different spiritualities, it's know yourself. And there's that story of ancient Greece where above the oracle in one of the cities, the sign was know thyself. And in a lot of things, it's always know yourself, and once you defeat the demons within, all the demons become easy. But I don't think we have a conversation about how super practical it is to just know yourself. To just know what you actually like and what you actually dislike is phenomenally important, just because then you don't waste time doing things you don't want to do. It's the same thing with goals. Why do we give ourselves goals? And for me as well, a lot of my goals that I set for myself were because that's what I thought I should set for myself and what everyone set and what was expected of me to set. So I set them, but they were never mine, and I never really wanted to do them. So it was quite hard for me to every day do them day in and day out. And I did, but it wasn't fun. And I just it's why do something that's not for you? Because at the end of the day, it's yours. It's your life. Every second you spend doing something you don't want to do is a second you're never going to get back, and it'll be something. And I don't mean you don't want to do in a superficial sense of, I don't want to wash these dishes. Don't be an idiot, okay? You need to wash the dishes because they need to get clean. But in life, I mean, so giving some little context, for me, I used to be, I am quite sporty, and for a long time, I was relatively good, and it was expected of me. It's oh, Luke, you better go do well and win, and it was there's so much pressure, and I couldn't figure out why I didn't want to win as much as people thought I wanted to. But you play your role, you do it, and it was fun. But it was this deep lack of interest that I couldn't express, and I felt it was dumb to say it to other people. Listen, I don't actually care, but it was weird because everyone would be oh, how dare you not care? And so I never brought it up, so just kind of went with it. And recently I'm just I actually don't care that much, and it's boom, life changes, and now I'm doing this and I love my job. And so that's just an example, and it's probably a poor one, but you can spend so much time running down a pathway that isn't yours, and it's yours because people tell you, and a lot of us, and it's good intentions, don't get me wrong, people feel that 100% tell someone what they're good at because then they should do it. I remember this so clearly. My uncle one day told me, I said, listen, Uncle Bo, I don't want to run. I don't like sprinting. It's not my thing. And he looked at me, he said, listen, it's your gift, and if you don't do it, you'll have wasted it and your life will be meaningless. And he didn't say it like that, but that's what I got. And it's just what? I have to do something that I don't really enjoy because it's like I'm kind of okay at it. And then that was like really frustrating for me. And so now I'm like, I'm not really good at the things I do now, but I really love doing them. And if you love doing it, then you'll eventually get good at it because you don't mind learning and learning and learning. So self-awareness, I think, is a huge thing. And it's the thing about it is that there's no one way to get it. You kind of know, but you never really do until you try different things and explore yourself, explore the things that make you happy, and go for it. But we're so constricted by people who mean well that it can be often terrifying to make the step of, listen, this thing that you think that I enjoy, it's not really for me. But it's also, you're so freed when you do it, because then people are like, wow, I mean, I had no idea you didn't want to do it. Please do that thing that you want to do. And there's probably more support when you do, because it's your truth, and you gotta, and people can respond to that. And I'm rambling on a bit, but it's a deep thing, and I'd really like to probably do this a bit better in a month from now when I get this together. But this video needs to go up because I think it's a conversation that most people need to start, is self-awareness. I mean, for me, what I've learned is that I'm an extremely intense person, like way more intense than I probably should be. Where, like, if you get a cup of coffee with me and you ask me any deep, meaningful question, we're going to go to what is the meaning of life. Like, it will be there in the next, 2 minutes. And that's probably prevented me a lot of times from having, like, good friendships, because I'll probably go too deep too quick, and people, But anyway, it's also something I discovered with my sister, and my best friend knows this way too much. But in general, it's just also who I am, and I just am like that, and I've accepted that. But I also know that you don't have to do that with everyone. So self-awareness gives you the ability to go after the things you want and the things that give you meaning in life, and so you just live happier, which is firstly a really good reason to do it, because who doesn't want to be happy? But it helps you relate to other people, because you understand that, listen, this deep desire that I have for myself isn't necessarily someone else's. And that's okay. And there's no need to drive it for them, and to just accept someone. And what it does is it stops you from judging people. And the inverse of it is that you stop judging yourself. Is that once you just accept, listen, this is who I am. And I don't mean accept yourself as in, I will always be terrible at something, where you can get better. You can get better. But also knowing that I don't like this thing, so I'm not going to put more time than I need to into it. And I'm going to spend time doing things I enjoy, and double down on that. And when you do that, other things do get better, because you're self-aware enough to not push into other things, as well as you don't waste time chasing something. Like, how many people have I met now that are like over 30 and have like no idea what they want with their life? And I feel for them, because it's also a conversation that we haven't had, but I can imagine how frustrating that must be, to just be like, I don't really know what I want. And then you're like left with this kind of lost feeling, and you do the same thing you've done every day. And then you wake up all of a sudden and you're 50, and you will have done the life that you were told to do, and it will never have come from you. And just that sense of like, it wasn't for me, is something I'm terrified of not having, or of having that, like, nothing I ever did was for me. Because that's the only thing that matters, is that no one knows you like you know yourself. But it is a hard thing to do, because it's something you really got to crack down and give yourself time to find out. And it's the same, you use the same 3 skills. If you want to know how to do it, use the same 3 skills. Read about other people's lives. Think about what they did that you like and you dislike, and then write about what's meaningful to you and reread it. And then you'll find it. You'll find your own way through what you want. But it's such a personal experience that I'm almost upset by these self-help movements that are all like universal and everything works for everyone. It's not. It's very individualistic, and everything is about you. Your life is about you, and it's not selfish to think that way. And do what you enjoy, and you'll help other people through that, because more often than not, the things you actually enjoy are a part of a community, and engage with that community and help it grow and love it. So that's my 2 cents. I'm probably going to break this down a little bit more later on, but really, really big thing. Self-awareness is just phenomenal. And if, you don't know what if this is badly explained, let me know so I can try explain it better. But the gist of it is, know yourself, because it's going to give you direction. And when you have direction, you have an achievable goal. And then you can work back on the little steps to get there. And that's life. That's as simple as it is. It is just about looking in the direction you want to go, that you really want to go, and then the little steps in between. The mistake a lot of us make is that we're given 1,000 different directions, and we get confused because we don't know inside of ourselves which one we want. But when you do, life comes very, very simple. And then you have a reason to jump out of bed in the morning. You have a reason to start conversations. You have a reason to start a YouTube channel and talk about your thing, is because now you know, and it's got nothing to do with other people. But, you know, that's what it is. And people respect that, and people like that. And probably, if you scan it up, it's probably where real confidence comes from, is when you know yourself. But in general, it's a conversation that I think we need to start having more and more in everyday life. Because, you know, you can just waste your whole life if you don't know. But yeah, anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day, week, year, life. I think that's going to be my intro for the rest of from now on. All right. Cheers. Have a good one. Bye.